I'm very, very excited to tell you that on May the 4th at 6 p.m. we're going to have a groundbreaking for our expansion. And I want to say to you, you are a spectacular group of people. On about exactly 1 year ago from our groundbreaking, about last May the 5th, I believe it was, we took up our first offering. And we made pledges and gave initial first fruit offerings. And all of that together, we are about 1 year into this 3-year commitment, and we are at approximately 44% of our total giving. And you wonder, how is that? That's phenomenal. That's very good. The last time we built, we received over 100% of our pledges. And I'm anticipating us in that same very trajectory. Thank you. What we want to do for just the next few minutes is I want to introduce you to, and you already know her. You see her up here singing on the praise team. You see her in the choir. Erin, come on up. Erin and her husband John and their kids, well, they're really not kids. They're growing into adults and are adults, are very actively involved in our church. And Erin has been on our building team, and our team meets and we collaborate and talk about big issues, and then we have smaller groups that meet and talk about important issues. And Erin's been leading our interior design team with other ladies in the church and with interior designists and architects. And Erin is a very busy lady. She's a wife, she's a mother, she's a professor. She sings in our praise team and in our choir, and she has effectively been leading this team. And what we want to do over the next few moments is to give you an opportunity to see what this team is accomplishing, what they're doing, and give you just a little snapshot of what you can anticipate. Erin, thank you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Cook, and thank you to the church staff, the building team. It is truly just an honor and a joy to get to serve on this team. I know you all know this, but we are really blessed with the best church staff I could possibly imagine. And so this has just been a really joyful process. And I want to thank all of you for your prayers and words of encouragement. It really, truly means the world. And so we just this morning want to kind of share, I'm going to call it a Pinterest board to some degree, of just some ideas and things that we're looking at, so you can start to visualize what this space will be once we take it from being a pile of steel beams to an actual building where we can welcome people in, where we can serve them and continue pointing people to the gospel. And so we're going to start by just looking at an overall color scheme. And so you'll see here on the screen, the primary paint color through most of the space is going to be agreeable gray. Now, this is, if you've painted recently, the most popular color in the United States. So it's a very easy to use color. It creates a wonderful neutral but bright color palette that we can then decorate from there. Then we'll also incorporate navy blue in order to really have that feel of what our church is. We utilize that in a lot of our graphics and things. And then we'll also have some other neutrals as well. And then in terms of the flooring in the new building, we are going to use luxury vinyl tile, which looks like wood. And this lighter color, that will be the primary color in most of the lobby and in the hallways and the new BFG rooms. This will keep things nice and bright. It's easy to clean. And then we'll have that darker color as a border to provide some contrast and some interest. And so that will be just such a nice feature for this new building. And I think you all will really like it. And then the next thing that you will see is just a schematic of what this lobby is going to look like. Now, I know this blueprint, it's very hard to envision what this will like as you're walking in, but I want to point out just a few things on the screen. So you'll see those doors as you walk in, and when you walk in, there's going to be a two-story lobby. So it's going to feel very big and open. And then right in front of there, will be what we're calling a feature wall, and we'll talk more about that in just a minute. But this feature wall is going to be just a beautiful space so that we just welcome people in and we have very central focus. Then also within this new lobby, over in the far left is a new conference room, and I'm really excited about this because it's actually going to give us a space so that when people have decisions, when they want to talk about church membership or they want to be counseled about what does it mean to follow Christ, this will be a place that our decision counselors can take them, and we'll have more of a private area for them to talk with them and say, hey, this is what it looks like to follow the Lord. And so that is on that far left. And then if you see these red, kind of red squares on either side of the entrance, those are going to be seating areas that have TVs in them where the service will be shown, so that if people can't be in the service, they could always step out into the lobby and be able to continue watching the service, and there will be some soft seating there. And then just to the left of the feature wall is going to be a welcome center, and that welcome center will be the place where our greeters will be able to point people in the right direction, tell them where to go, what BFG they should join or should visit. And so that's just to kind of give you a picture of what it will look like when you first walk in to this brand new lobby. Now, I'm going to show you a concept for the feature wall that's going to help us kind of take the heritage of Ninth and O. Ninth and O is a 109-year-old church. We moved here in 2016, and that was the 100th anniversary. And so now, here we are, it's 109 years old, and we want to honor that heritage and that legacy of faithfulness. And so we're one of the concepts we're working on and we hope to bring to fruition is to take some of the old stained glass and utilize that in that feature so that we can kind of bring together that heritage in the old and the new. And then just to the left of the feature wall, we will also be utilizing photography, and we'll utilize some pictures, old pictures as well as new pictures, and our core values to really say who we are, so that as people come in and as visitors come in, they'll have a really good sense of what Ninth and O is all about and how God has been faithful to this congregation for so many years. And so we're really excited about that and look forward to kind of seeing how that will help us to greet visitors. Now, this is for everyone in here, particularly special to the ladies. The next slide is the scheme, the color scheme for the new bathrooms. So it is going to be a beautiful space. There will be a new men's restroom, a new women's restroom, a new family restroom, all right there off of that new lobby. And so we're very, very excited about that and how we can better serve both visitors and, of course, our current members by having these new spaces. And so this just gives you an idea, again, just a lovely neutral color palette that should work for years to come, and so should serve our church really, really well. Now, as we go on to the next slide, you will see the multi-purpose room flooring. So the multi-purpose room is going to have a special floor, a little bit different than the vinyl tile. It's going to have a padding so that kids, you can play basketball, you can play volleyball, and it's going to have just a little bit more give to it, but it will also work really well if we're going to have a large church gathering, so that you can put out, tables and chairs where 300 people could gather together for a big event. And so the flooring is actually a really important part of that, and so we look forward to seeing how that will serve our church and really meet those needs well. This next picture this is again just an inspiration picture. We will not have that many windows, but we will have some windows. And our goal with the multi-purpose room is to make it both functional in terms of all the things that we want to do, but we also want it to feel beautiful and to feel like a space that you can use for a number of purposes. And so we really want to be true to that multi-purpose functionality of the room. And so with all of these choices, we're trying to give the most flexibility that we can in order to best serve the church. And the next slide that you'll see is going to show the kitchen concept. Now, the kitchen is going to be much larger than our current kitchen. It's going to have a lot of electricity, which when I say that, I mean it's going to have lots of plugs for crock pots. So we're going to have lots of places so that BFGs can utilize this kitchen well. We'll have new appliances. It is a stainless steel commercial type kitchen concept, so we're trying to make it as easy easy to clean, and just to make it extremely functional, but it will also just be a great space that we can utilize well for years to come. And now we're going to look up at the student room. And again, I've got a schematic here, which is a little bit hard to visualize. But when you see all of those little kind of purpley pink dots, that's 160 chairs representing 160 students. And we are so thankful for what the Lord has done in the student ministry. Adam and his team are just doing a phenomenal job. And so we want there to be plenty of room for students, but we also want this room to have some fun things as well. And so you'll see, so the blue rectangles are kind of representing soft seating, so there'll be some hangout places. Then, of course, we're going to have some areas where kids might want to gather and maybe play some video games as they're waiting for the lesson to start. And then in the back corner, you'll see with that red square, that is going to be kind of a kitchenette area so that the youth workers would be able to have some things in a refrigerator in case they're going to have something and not have to go all the way downstairs. And so this will be, again, very functional, kind of a kitchenette and then some cafe-type seating. And one of the things that we've mentioned before, but very excited that we will have a guys' and a girls' restroom that are upstairs, easy for the students to access. And so that will just be a huge benefit to our student ministry. So really excited about that. The type of flooring that we're going to have in the student room, we will have a mixture of carpet and of tile. The carpet will be to help absorb so that those BFG rooms that are underneath the student room won't have quite as much noise as the students are moving chairs and different things. And so we'll have a combination of types of flooring. And then in terms of our stage, we're going to try to make sure that the stage is fun and that it looks like a place that the students want to be. And so this is going to be a really great space that feels very distinct to them. And so we're looking forward to how to create that and looking at some different ideas with what we can do. Now, the very last piece is just to kind of give an idea in terms of the furniture. One of the concepts that we want to do is to look for some individual type seating, but also modular seating that would work well in terms of being able to maybe scoot pieces together and to have a lot of flexibility. So one of the things that the interior designers have been helping us with is to make sure that this space is both beautiful, but it's also extremely functional and flexible to meet all of the needs of the church. So again, hopefully this just kind of gives you a vision of what all of this will look like once we get it built, but we're really excited. Again, thank you so much for your prayers and your words of encouragement. Thank you.
Erin, thank you very much. Excellent. Thank you, Erin.